Welcome back to the Toy Store Life. Once again, TJOmega is going to tell you a little bit about what it's like to work in a toy store and the weird things that come up when we actually get things in or when the interesting person comes in, whichever one I feel like at the moment. At the moment, I feel like a little bit of both because I'm going to tell you about how we obtain our toys. So, most of everything you see in here is from other people's collections, things that we have bought from collectors and put out to sell for ourselves. And it's one of those things that people look down on because, if we end up paying, $30 for a figure that can actually be sold for 90. Or, we take in a collection, for like, we spend like $2,000 on a collection that is actually worth $5,000 or $6,000, and people go, well, you're just ripping people off at that point. You're just taking advantage of people. No, because it's not about that. When people bring in large collections, or even when people just bring in small things, it's not about the money that it is worth to them. It is about the problem it has created in their life, whether it's taking up space in their closet, a spouse that has gotten sick of seeing it cluttering up a bedroom, or just plain just being done and wanting it all solved and out of the way, quick and easy without having to deal with eBay shipping, the months it would take to get rid of absolutely everything. It's not about money at that point. It's about a problem in their life that they need solved, and that's what we do. We solve that problem, and then we resell the problem to other people. That's basically how this kind of shop operates. But in some cases, they need it out of their life so bad that they will do just about anything. We have, and it's just out of view of this camera, we have a Star Trek section over here. And I think every toy store, I think every little toy store like this, any collectible store, has some kind of Star Trek section because it's one of the most infamously overproduced toy lines of the 90s. It is like, especially the next gen toys. They made literally every iteration of every character they possibly could. They made the most minor characters, one episode characters. They made the one alien you only saw the one time. They basically tried to do the Star Wars thing of just trying to market literally every design the show came up with as a toy. And it didn't go over nearly as well. There's a lot of leftover stuff from that era. And a lot of collectors know it is next to worthless. You like every now and then you find someone who's oh, I remember that episode. Oh, I like that character, and they'll take one home, but it's nothing to write home about, and it's nothing like tremendously valuable. It's just something we have if a collector really wants a little bit of Star Trek. The way we got ours. I shouldn't be telling you this, but I'm going to tell you this because it really doesn't matter. Someone drove up to the store one day and they brought in like 3 tubs, 3 big plastic bins full of Star Trek toys of all kinds, mostly next gen action figures, some movie, some Deep Space Nine, but mostly just next gen all over the place. And when he was laying all this out on us, he said, "I'm just dropping these off." Oh, what? Wait, why? Why? My wife is sick of seeing it. We're tired of it. I know they're worth nothing, so here, I'm just leaving them. This is one of those situations where they have a problem, and getting rid of them is the solution. It's basically a situation where the wife was going to throw them all away, and then like they found out that this store took in toys, so they just brought them in and dropped them off. So our entire Star Trek collection cost us absolutely nothing, and we would have paid him. We absolutely would have paid him. That's not. He didn't want it. He didn't want it. He just wanted to get rid of it. Like I said, problem in his life. We solved it. And we were going through these things, and he's got the most of the main cast. He's got a lot of popular characters from the old Star Trek shows, and things that, okay, like there's actually a little bit of merit here. Nothing terribly valuable, but just, merit. It wasn't like I'm trying to think of a random like one-off Star Trek character that got like one toy. Because every time I go into some toy shops, there's some that I see like every single time. It's not just like random Klingon that showed up in one episode, or the Nausicaan that stabbed Picard in the flashback in one episode. That only like the one-off episode aliens, like that kind of thing we always run into. No, it's like the main bridge crew. It's Gowron, like one of the most notable Klingons besides Worf. Lots of nice ones, things that I think would do okay. But three of them in there were more interesting. There was a Worf from the original Galoob line, which is completely different style and design. One, and then two next gen figures, one of Deanna Troi and one of Hugh, the Borg that gained sentience. And those three were autographed. And for some reason, they were just thrown in with this random pile of Star Trek toys that this guy just unloaded. Kind of shocking to me. And like the Michael Dorn one, I didn't even notice because it's such a tiny signature on the card. Like I couldn't even tell at first. So, like, we're kind of flipping out. Like, what do we do with these? Because we never had autographed items in the store before. Well, we get a call the next day, and he says, "Did I leave some autographed figures in those bins? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Okay, I want those back. Don't sell those. I want those back." Oh, okay. All right. So we put them under the counter. We break them out just to show off once in a while, just to anyone who comes by the Star Trek section. We think it would just be a fun story to tell. But we don't do anything with them. Because, technically, legally, they're ours. But we're doing a courtesy to him because he made a mistake. And then a week goes by and we don't see him. A month goes by and we don't see him. The store literally changes ownership. So the technical legal ownership of these changes hands in the time that we still have not seen this guy coming back in for his figures. And in the meantime, he hasn't called us, he hasn't messaged, he hasn't emailed, nothing. Like, we're just like, where is Star Trek guy? Like, we're still sitting on these, and like do we put them out for sale? Like, legally they're ours, but like, how much of a grace period can we actually give him? Like, I think owner number 2 decided that we were going to give him to the end of the year. And if he didn't come in by then, whatever. And we were having this discussion. He told me that, like, there was a Friday before I was leaving for MetroCon, just a week prior to leaving. Because he was going to have, it was the first weekend the owner was going to hold down the fort by himself. So he told me he had a nightmare that night that Star Trek guy came in to take his autographed figures back. Look, I'm sure if that happens while I'm gone, you can handle it. Don't worry. Just hand him the toys and leave. It's not a big deal. So it's just a weird thing to bring up. Because at that point, it had been like 4 months. Like 4 months we hadn't seen or heard of this guy. And there's just like a recurring worry that Jim had that he was going to deal with this while I was gone. Like, don't worry about it. It's not going to happen. The next day, I am sitting here shilling my Pokemon cards and Funko Pops as usual. Who comes into the door? Star Trek guy. Finally there to reclaim what he had accidentally given us. It was such a weird happenstance because we talked about it once or twice before in that 4-month span, but it's not like a pressing issue. It's not like a thing we go over every week. Is like, well, okay, how are we gonna do this week? What Pokemon do you think is gonna sell? Is that Daryl Dixon pop gonna sell this week? I think he's gonna sell this week. You think Star Trek guy is going to come in? It's not like one of like the weekly routine things that we go over. It's just, you know, you think we'll see him again? You think he'll actually be in? Okay, no, we'll talk about it again in 2 months. The weirdness that Jim would have a dream about it. Jim being the second owner, by the way. But the weirdness that Jim would have a dream about it on a Friday, and then Saturday it would actually happen. So bizarre. So bizarre. Apparently he lived like all the way downtown. So we didn't so it's like it takes like a big trip for him to actually make it down here. Which leads me to wonder why he took such a long drive to leave those toys in the first place. So I guess at the very least, definitely means he wanted them to go to the right place. I can't fault him for that. But that was Star Trek guy. And that was the weird story about how we got our Star Trek selection and the autographs that, how many times I was tempted to just put them out for sale? How many times? Like, it's been 2 months. It's been 3 months. Legally, these are ours. Legally, he has no claim over these anymore. He gave them to us. But Star Trek guy has his autographs, and we still have a Star Trek selection. So that's really the best way that story can end. That's how it works when you work at a toy store sometimes. That's the toy store life.
Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.